Hey everyone, welcome back to Direct Focus. As you can see, we're doing things a little different this week. We're still on our journey through Steven Spielberg's directorial career, but I felt a silly animated discussion about a movie as powerful, personal, and harrowing as Schindler's List was in poor taste. It never crossed my mind to skip the movie, however. I think this piece of cinema is incredibly important.
I'd make sure it's known the company's in business. I'd see that it had a certain panache. That's what I'm good at. Not the work, not the work. The presentation. Kielbasa sausage, cheeses, beluga caviar. And of course, who could live without German cigarettes? Get me as many as you can find. And some more fresh fruit. The real rarities, oranges, lemons, pineapples. I need several boxes of Cuban cigars, the best. And dark unsweetened chocolate, not in the shape of ladyfingers. A chunk of chocolate, big as my hand. You sample at wine tastings. 900, no, make it 10 for Wednesday. All this stuff here goes to Majesty's factory. I lost a worker. I expect to be compensated.
He's on the list.
He is? Well, let's find him.
Stern! 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 Itzhak, Stern!
Stop the train! He's here! Stop the train!
Stop the train!
I woke up from a dream this morning. I was broke and sharing a room with 12 people I didn't know.
Who will want to start, huh? Do you have any questions, sir?
Yeah, well, it's top down. I'm fucking freezing.
What's your name?
Helen Hirsch.
Your cartoon! Deine Papiere, Jude! Deine Papiere, Jude!
These in your pocket.
I have to find every rag, bury it up here, and burn it.
The list is life. All around its margins lies the gulf.
A friend of Spielberg's introduced him to the idea of the project years before production would begin. Spielberg was given a review of the book, originally titled Schindler's Ark and retitled Schindler's List for U.S. release. The review he was given was so profound and compelling that Spielberg felt he had to read the book. Right away, Spielberg knew he had to tell this story, but he also knew he wasn't quite ready. He had been making adventure, alien, and kid movies. He didn't want to jump headfirst into such an important project and risk doing it a disservice. He also says he wasn't mentally prepared for the project at the time. After a few years and a few more projects, Spielberg got himself ready. He mainly credits The Color Purple as well as Empire of the Sun with getting him ready to tackle Schindler's List and the Holocaust. Spielberg had done well for Universal since he began working with them early in his career. It was not hard to sell them to greenlight the movie. He did have to follow through with Jurassic Park first, possibly to bank the studio some money before diving into this relatively low-budget project. The studio execs didn't see Schindler's List as a commercially viable project. They knew it was important and thought it would find an audience in VHS sales. They saw it as an educational tool or a public service announcement more than a feature film. On a personal note, I was introduced to this movie in school. I've seen it in multiple history classes as well as film classes. Spielberg was given a mere $22 million to shoot the movie. The budget was already tight, but Spielberg insisted on filming in Poland, where the movie would take place, to be as true to the experience as possible. Though the production was in Poland and Spielberg had permission to film inside the actual camps, he felt that would be disrespectful to the victims. A replica camp was constructed outside the gates of the main death camp for the movie. Shooting in Poland wasn't the only demand Spielberg would make. He was unwavering in what he needed for the movie. If he was going to do it, he was going to do it right. He didn't spend time considering things like how much brutality to show, how much violence would actually be in it, the horrors of the Holocaust. It's a true story that could not be watered down for mass consumption. He said in an interview that he never had such clarity in making a movie as to what to do next. The movie unfolded around him more than was molded by him. One sticking point between Spielberg and the studio was the choice to shoot the movie in black and white. Universal thought this already hard-to-sell product would be impossible to sell, even on VHS, if it was in black and white. Spielberg wouldn't budge. The studio tried to compromise that the film could be shot in color, released theatrically in black and white, then released on home video in color. Spielberg held his ground, and eventually the studio conceded. Shooting in black and white was, of course, the right move. The tone is set. The simple absence of color brings the audience back in time. This decision also allowed for one of the most iconic and powerful images in the entire film, a film filled with powerful images. While the Polish Jews are being rounded up by the Nazis, a young child in a bright red coat is wandering the streets. She's ignored by everyone except an on-looking Oskar Schindler. There's a change in the man as he watches this little girl go unnoticed, a change that would help lead him to become the incredible man who saved so many lives. This imagery isn't just good for sales and a character moment. It's also said to be a true incident that was lifted directly from the book. Spielberg also said that the scene was a look back on the history of the Holocaust as well. The Allied forces knew about the Holocaust a long time before they acted. The Holocaust was a giant red flag walking through the war that the Allied forces ignored for far too long. Spielberg has said that this is his most personal movie he's ever made. It's also the most impactful of his entire career. These sentiments weren't just from 1993 when the film was released, but they were once again echoed in interviews in 2018 for the 25-year anniversary remaster re-release. If the movie was personal and impactful for Spielberg, that's nothing compared to the survivors who actually lived through the horrific events. As many survivors as possible were interviewed, consulted, and contacted about the movie. They all believe that telling this story, telling this bit of history, in such a powerful medium was a good idea. The real-life people whose stories were directly used in the movie were often on set during filming so they could consult and then see that it was being handled with the utmost respect and truth. One of these survivors is the young woman Schindler kisses on the cheek at his birthday party. I apologize, but I was unable to find a reliable source on the woman's name. She was said to be on set with Spielberg the day that this true-to-life scene was being shot. She said she wanted to tell Spielberg her whole story, not just this one incident. She wanted him to know her people, and to know her experiences. Knowing her life story so thoroughly led Spielberg to found the USC Shoah Foundation. The Shoah Foundation acts as a living history. It's an educational tool that also raises awareness about the Holocaust as well as other genocides. The official Shoah Foundation website has over 55,000 first-hand video accounts from survivors. When the film was completed, many of the survivors wouldn't watch it. They lived it. They couldn't escape the memories of it. No one was disrespectful or felt that they had been disrespected over the movie. The survivors that did watch it all said, of course, the movie could not capture the real emotions of their experiences, but they were all glad at the reverence that was taken and the fact that this powerful medium could reach millions for years to come. Spielberg wanted to work with his favorite composer, John Williams, in scoring the movie. After the movie was screened for Williams, he had to walk away. He walked around outside to clear his head before returning to Spielberg and telling him he just couldn't do it. The movie deserved a better composer. Spielberg simply replied by telling his longtime collaborator and friend that he knew, but they were all dead. With all the money the movie made, Spielberg would have done very well for himself. He thought a payday for the movie would be gross and that the profits would be blood money. Every last penny of earnings, royalties, and residuals that would have been Spielberg's go directly to the Shoah Foundation. Spielberg also refuses to autograph anything related to the film. Everyone was wrong about the success of the movie. The low-budget drama that the studios and even the man who made it didn't see as a viable commercial enterprise will go on to gross $221 million worldwide. It would also be nominated for 139 awards. It won 90 of them, including 7 Oscars. Thanks for sticking with me through this discussion. As I said, Schindler's List is an incredibly powerful and important movie. I hope the inability to edit as severely as I would for our normal format wasn't too distracting from the material. Please remember to subscribe to our channel. Also remember to listen to So Wizard Podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Check out SoWizardPodcast.com for reviews, recommendations, merchandise, and more. We love hearing feedback, so leave us something in the comments or drop us a line on social media. All of our accounts can be found after the video.